Good evening, brothers and sisters. Today, we meet here in congregation to say rest in peace to an old friend. Nope, not him. No, not even marginally close. No, what is up with future me and people who died very untimely deaths, yet kind of deserved it, honestly? No. Today, we lay to rest Nintendo Directs. Nintendo Directs, I hear you queefing from your face. That was nothing. I don't know what this is. But there was one just a day ago. What are you talking about? Well, yes, there was. But that Nintendo Direct's mere existence just buried an already 6-foot grave about 4 feet deeper. Yes, that's right, I'm jumping on this bandwagon. Now, I'm gonna get a couple of things out of the way immediately that I know the armada of Nintendo peons are going to bring up right away. You should have tempered your expectations. You let yourself get disappointed because you didn't control your hype. Well, yes, I did control my hype. We're gonna get to that. You're just upset about the Nintendo Direct because you didn't like the games that were shown. Stop being biased. Games you don't like doesn't mean it's a bad Direct. Honestly, no. While, yeah, that's a part of it. Obviously, you're not gonna enjoy a Nintendo Direct if you don't care for almost any of the games that they show, but that's not really why this Direct was bad per se. In fact, actually, now that I think about it, a huge part of it is the exact opposite. I'm gonna try to make this video less critiquing Nintendo as a company and a lot more just this Direct, because I have something way bigger planned for a video about Nintendo in general. But I'm just gonna apologize in advance because I'm making this video really quickly, so I might end up just going on rants about Nintendo as a whole. First of all, that Smash reveal. I'm not gonna get into that. Why? Well, you see, even though I don't really care about these, well, endowed anime girls that are way too over designed, I know that they're Etika's girls, and I know that he would have been stoked and hyped out of his mind for this. I just wish that he was here to see it. But let's talk about the rest of this Direct, right? Apex Legends, Miitopia, Plants vs. Zombies, Stubbs the Zombie, Skyward Sword. What do all these games have in common? Well, they're all games that are about 2 to 10 years old, sometimes even older, that are being released mostly at full price as remasters or just literal ports. And they somehow look even worse than the consoles they were originally released on. No, really, let's talk about this jump from Skyward Sword to Skyward Sword HD. Let's look at the Skyward Sword to Skyward Sword HD jump and the Wind Waker to Wind Waker HD jump. Again, I said that this wouldn't be a critique of Nintendo as a whole, but you can really just tell that they stopped giving a shit over the course of 8 years. And again, this brings me back to something that the Nintendo GIMP slaves are gonna talk about with this. You shouldn't have expected anything insane out of an HD remake, and you also shouldn't have expected anything besides remasters and re-release for exact same games for $60 that are barely even remakes, but whatever, man. You fucking Okay, sure, whatever. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt, and we shouldn't have expected Breath of the Wild 2, or Metroid Prime 4, or Bayonetta 3, or Pikmin 4, or any of the other countless games that Nintendo has said is in development, announced, or just have also gone MIA. And let's take that thought and look at the tweet that got the old hype train a-brewing. Tune in February 17th at 2 p.m. for a hashtag Nintendo Direct live stream featuring roughly 50 minutes of information focused on available games like Super hashtag Smash Bros Ultimate and games coming to Nintendo Switch in the first half of 2021. I'm gonna ask you a question, and I really want you to answer. Dude, I'm gonna ask you a question, and I want you to really, truly answer completely truthfully. Dude, I tried to say answer like fucking 6 times, and I said answer. I finally got it. What are games that you think, personally, like the first ones you think of, that are gonna be talked about in the first Nintendo Direct in 530 full-ass days for release at the beginning of 2021? The highly anticipated sequel to one of the most critically acclaimed games of all time, and will almost certainly be released on the same engine with the exact same assets? Or is it DC Supergirl's Teen Power? Another sequel to one of Nintendo's most awesome trilogies of all time that has been in development for at the very least 4 years and turned the number 4 into one of the most hyped up images of all time. Or basic battle royale game number 256 that adds literally almost nothing new to the overhyped formula that died in 2019 and is probably gonna run at 30 frames per second cap. I'm going to get a new one teared in me for saying that. But again, that brings us to another thing that the Nintendo fanboy army is going to attack me for. You just don't like the games that were shown. You can't say the entire direct was bad just because you didn't care for any of the games that showed up. Well, concerned citizen, do I have news for you? Like I said earlier, one of my biggest complaints about the direct, if not the biggest complaint about the direct, is actually related to something that is like the exact opposite. But you have to bear with me because what I'm about to say is one of the most heathenous things that can possibly be said of all time, like a literal treason. Something that I get a ton of shit for literally every single day and is only gonna get worse because I'm saying it publicly. Honestly, I think it's considered a felony in multiple US states. I don't like Breath of the Wild. Yeah, I know, absolute scandal. I just never liked it and I probably never will. I think it's pretty boring. I think the world is bland and there isn't much to do in it. I don't like how they handle the weapon durability system. I think the dungeon design is terrible and makes me feel like I'm playing Portal, which isn't a bad game, but I'm trying to play a fantasy adventure. And it makes it worse that open world games that did what Breath of the Wild did and did it infinitely better have existed for almost a decade prior and immediately followed Breath of the Wild. So yeah, I'm not a Breath of the Wild fan. I never was. However, I still feel the pain of everybody who tuned into that direct and was hoping to hear a literal tiny little nugget of information about that game. I still feel the pain of all the people who obviously showed up to the direct thinking that they get a tiny little ass crystal of information about the sequel. Let's just say that again, we give Nintendo the ultimate benefit of the doubt and we just say that despite the fact that that game has been in progress for at least 2 years, probably longer, that they have not even a single thing at all to show. No screenshots, no gameplay tests, no concept art, no anything. Even though they showed a full trailer that I'm almost certain is in Game Engine, but you know, Rona, right? The big C. Really, again, my dog is barking. Hold up, I'm about to slaughter an animal. Shut the f up, please! I'm trying to take advantage of trends and yell about a Nintendo Direct because I'm a man-child. I've never killed a dog before. Again, be completely honest with me. Do you not think it was sort of, I don't know, just plain mean that they obviously didn't leave out the fact that Breath of the Wild wouldn't be there and then continued to bait the shit out of it only to be like, yeah, no, sorry, no Breath of the Wild 2. Anyway, here's fucking Skyward Sword for $60. I mean, come on. It's so obvious that they're just pulling a string of hype and wringing as much out of the Breath of the Wild sequel as they can. We have the tweet. We have any lack of real information for 2 whole years until this massive blowout event of information. And then of course we have the infamous line. You know, maybe instead of giving us a sad YouTuber apology about why we can't see information about Breath of the Wild 2 even though we really wanted to, you should just, I don't know, say from the beginning in that very first announcement tweet that there'll be nothing about Breath of the Wild 2? Despite how f***ed up and two-head Nintendo can be from a business standpoint, they're not stupid. Companies have PR and social media agents. They have God knows how many people on the field seeing the general audience's reactions, what they want, what they hate, what they don't want. That's just basic entertainment business 101. So they know, they absolutely know that almost everybody who showed up to see, you know, the game that's had no information released and obviously would be shown at a time like this. So obvious that they just wanted to play off this hype to get as many people as possible on the train watching this Nintendo Direct to show their stupid little third-party garbage games that no one is gonna care about. Like really, tell me, how much were you super duper hyped for Fall Guys for Switch? Yeah, remember that game? Fall Guys? And you know, it just baffles me because immediately after this, they did it exactly right with Splatoon 3. They showed us gameplay, customization, some cutscenes, a little bit more gameplay, set the release date, which ironically enough is a 2022 release, even though this was supposed to be a direct solely focusing on 2021 game, and they called it a day. Just a trailer saying see ya then, and that's it. The end. Pump and dump, smash and dash, nothing else. Where was that with the much more popular series that everybody in this direct obviously was salivating over and then led to them getting way more viewers? Oh wait, call in Alex Jones because we got a fucking conspiracy on our hands. But Nate, they're a company. They have to make decisions and cut corners like this to get money and get more viewers and have more people excited for their products. Yeah, well, fuck big companies, fuck the rich, fuck Nintendo, and fuck my asshole. This direct showed so much more that Nintendo is almost like an abusive boyfriend in a way. You gave them your entire childhood. You gave them those warm summer nights, all that time collecting 120 stars in Super Mario 64, and yet they just bite the hand that feeds. And they just pretend like it's totally okay in this direct. You know, now that I think about it, they're more like snake oil salesmen than abusive boyfriends, but I think my point still stands. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about that godforsaken Nintendo Direct. Sorry this was like pretty disjointed and probably not all that funny or whatever. I sort of just watched the Nintendo Direct and was like, wow, there needs to be a video about this, and I just threw this together really quickly. This is probably just gonna be another story of Nintendo being shitty and anti-consumer that gets swept under the rug and forgotten about like 2 days later. If anything, I hope Nintendo just learns from all of this, because from what I saw on Twitter and the Twitch chat and the YouTube live chat, it was nothing but anger and hatred. But I mean, honestly, this is Nintendo, so of course they're not gonna fucking listen to us. And to the fanboys that are just content with bootlicking to everything that Nintendo can, has done, or ever will do, I'm jealous, honestly. Maybe it's my inner socialist libtard coming out about hating companies, I don't know. Nintendo, if you're watching this right now, and you take a single thing out of this entire video, fuck you for not putting Master Chief in Smash.